known as the graveyard of the United States during the 1800s because of our epidemics and so many people dying. But it also was like a big business. Like you had all these tomb building and the hearse and the coffin makers, and you had then mourning clothes, mourning jewelry, mourning invitations or plates. So it also was a big business in those days, if you lived to enjoy it. Irishmen came over here to work on the New Basin Canal, and they were promised like $20 a month, room and board, and $6.24 whiskey allowance. And when they got over here to work on the canal, it was harder than working on the Panama Canal because they only had picks and shovels. And with all the flooding, there were the ideal conditions for mosquitoes to breed. And you also had the ships coming into the port, and they're bringing all kinds of bugs in along with the cargo. The sad part of it is that these Irishmen, the average lifespan when they got over here was like 2 weeks. Now here we have a tomb that says that the children died of yellow fever, and the cousin came to visit, and he died suddenly of yellow fever, so they put this little sarcophagus on top for him. During the epidemics, the citizens would complain that the doctors and the pharmacists were conspired to have the doctors prescribe expensive, unnecessary drugs, and that the pharmacists and the doctors would share the profits. They also accused the coffin makers of also price gouging. In those days, they didn't have the embalming like we had today, so you laid the body on a bed of ice. They also accused the ice makers of price gouging. Now this gentleman's name is James Hagan, and he was a tomb builder. And of course, when you're a tomb builder, you've got to advertise your profession. So he built himself an expensive red granite tomb. It's just very expensive because granite had to be imported. You won't see a lot of marble or granite. It had to be imported, and it was very expensive. So what the tombs were built of was a brick. And the local brick is very inferior. It deteriorates with a lot of moisture that we have here. And so they would cover it with stucco. Then you would use your stone, your imported expensive stone, on a tablet with the inscription of the person. Now you can see with these marble tablets what our heat does to them. It sugarizes them, and it also, like, see how they bend, they bevel, and they stretch and they shrink. So it wasn't very practical to have a marble tomb down here. In the old days, like, the Catholics didn't believe in cremation, so there wasn't any crematories here until the 1970s. If you wanted to be cremated, you had to go to Houston. But with these tombs and our heat, that probably a lot of these bodies were naturally cremated. Because we get like 90-degree weather here, and inside those tombs, if they're enclosed, they might have probably been 200 degrees. So we're in a low-lying area, like 5 feet below sea level. So when they would, like, dig the graves, as fast as they would dig them, sometimes the water would fill in. So it was more economical and practical for you to build them above ground. But you'll have like copings where at the beginning they did bury in the ground, but they buried a little bit above. Now if you notice, this is a coping, but it's awful high. And the story behind this is that the gentleman was originally from the Northeast. He was a Yankee. And he joined the Confederacy against his family's wishes. He died at a young age, and to make sure that their son was buried in Yankee soil, they had a whole bunch of it brought down to make sure that he's surrounded in Yankee soil. Now I understand if you're looking for a tomb that this one's for sale and it's never been used. You could have Grandpa on the top and Grandma underneath. The Jefferson Fire Company Society tomb. You can see the motif up there is the fire truck, and on the side you have the torches turned inverted upside down, and that meant life snuffed out. And here we have the symbol of the hourglass with the wreath, the hourglass meaning the passage of time and the shortness of life. Here you have the Society for the Relief of Destitute Orphan Boys. And here we have the New Orleans Home for the Incurables. I'm a volunteer for the Save Our Cemeteries. Save Our Cemeteries was formed in the 1970s. It's a nonprofit organization. Money we collect from you and from other resources is used to promote, restore, and preserve the cemeteries.